Hello everyone! In this video, I'm going to explain how I made this illustration of Gojo Satoru in Mika Pikazo's style. I will explain step by step everything I did and the preliminary study I did for the characteristic style of the most famous artist, Mika Pikazo. Mika Pikazo is a very famous illustrator on social media with hundreds of thousands of followers on both Instagram and Twitter, who is characterized by her unique and colorful style. Mika Pikazo dedicates herself to illustrating anime-style characters for VTubers, video game companies, and even Disney. I will explain a bit the characteristics of her stunning style. Use of saturated and contrasting colors. The palette she uses is extremely saturated with primary colors like red, blue, and yellow, contrasting warm and cool colors like red versus cyan or orange versus electric blue makes the characters stand out much more in compositions. The Lineart. Mika Pikazo's uses dynamic and expressive strokes. The lines are clear but not uniform, the thickness varies in a controlled way. Mika Pikazo's character design focuses on the eyes, which are rendered in much detail with multiple layers of reflections, shadows, and colors. She sometimes includes geometric shapes and patterns. This makes the eyes the focal point of the illustrations. Regarding clothing, she uses geometric shapes, overlapping fabrics, floating accessories, or asymmetrical elements, along with many decorative elements such as ribbons or integrated lights, in an excessive but controlled manner. Regarding lighting, she uses intense lights or neon effects to highlight contrast. The illustrations have many elements but well organized to maintain clarity. Mika Pikazo is also known for using halftones in her illustrations. It is actually one of the most notable features of her illustrations and what makes them more unique. She also uses different effects such as chromatic aberration or noise, which we will analyze later. All these past research helped me create a full Mika-style version of Gojo. I chose Gojo because his main feature are his eyes. And as we mentioned before, Mika Pikazo plays with composition so that the eyes are the most striking feature of her illustrations. I quickly sketched a simple portrait of Gojo as I wanted to focus on him in the render. I used the design of Gojo with sunglasses because some of Mika Pikazo's illustrations have characters wearing sunglasses, which I love. I started with the sketch, then created a very simple line art, more in my style, without giving much importance to the lines since I later draw over them. I usually use them more as a reference than as a final line for the drawing. I continued adding the base colors. I decided to stay true to Gojo's color palette, but I emphasized the tones a bit more, especially in the clothing. The colors I chose are primary and intense colors, like the blue I used. I added a blue background since all of Mika's illustrations have a contrasting background. I continue with the skin rendering. Mika Pikazo uses many tones to shade the skin, from the most striking to the most contrasting, such as orange or violet. I continue with the hair rendering, which was one of the most difficult things for me, since they have a lot of detail and many different colors. The eyes are the most striking feature of Mika Pikazo's illustrations, so I decided to make them stand out, adding lots of colors, many shades of blue, and some reflections in orange and violet tones, which I would later add in the end. The time has come for the glasses, and I was really stressed because they weren't coming out the way I wanted. So I decided to move on to something else and then render the glasses at the end. I started adding the halftones. I use Clip Studio Paint and I have this brush specifically for halftones, which I really liked, and I use it for the entire illustration. You can find a link in the description of the video. I continue adding more detail to the hair and the entire illustration in general. I started painting over the liner and adding certain asymmetrical elements floating in the air. At this point, I added an effect I discovered from Art Senpai's video, in which they also analyzed Mika Pikazo's style and discovered this trick, which I think is incredible. The first thing you have to do is merge all the layers into a single layer, invert it using Ctrl+I, and change the blend mode to hard mix and lower the opacity. Add a little bit of Gaussian blur and play with opacity. This set of effects make certain tones appear in the illustration as Mika Pikazo's style. Then I added chromatic aberration from Clip Studio Paint filters. Also added some blurs in the edge to focus more attention on the face and eyes. Finally, I opened Photoshop and added glass effect, which I also saw in a TPPO's analysis video of Mika Pikazo's style. And this is the final result. I really like it and think this style fits really well with Gojo's personality. Let me know in the comments if you want me to try another style from another famous artist. The truth is that these things really help me discover new techniques that I can apply to my own style. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button and subscribe, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye!